to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
Razaman IFL TV proudly sponsored by Everlast. Ben, Shalom, another successful night in your home city of Manchester. Let's start top of the bill. Natasha Jonas proves that she's one of the best females out there.
She is. She's one of the biggest names. She's one of the best females out there. She just keeps getting better and better and better. And obviously we knew the potential when we got her 12 months ago. I just thought she was the most unlucky fighter in Britain. She'd done so much and never won a world title. She's now sat here with 3. She's showing her talent every time. She's fighting bigger girls and she's still dominating, you know. And yeah, really special moment. I think I was saying up there, I do think boxing owes Natasha Jonas a lot. She was since 2012 she's been battering down doors, and she was she was in that first batch of women Olympians in 2012. To be here 10 years later, she's still going. She went away, became a mother, and then to be doing what she's doing now this year's just been incredible.
I go back yesterday to the weigh-in, and a lot of people were talking about the size difference, that her opponent looked a lot bigger, but she almost just made it look so easy in the ring tonight.
Yeah, look, I thought it was a good fight. I still thought it was a close fight. Marie was trying to use her size, wasn't she, and really trying to impose herself on Tasha. But Tasha is just a phenomenally gifted boxer, and she always finds the gaps. She always finds the pockets, and in the end, I think she thought when she went into the 10th, it was a lot closer than it was, and she came out swinging, but it was wide. I felt it was wide, and it was just another great performance from a great boxer, and someone I believe that when we'll look back, and women's boxing is in such a good place. It headlined tonight, and no one even batted an eyelid. That's crazy to think where it was, and I think the Shields Marshall effect is in full force. But Natasha Jonas has been instrumental in it. Yeah.
The question now is what do you do with her? Where do you go? I know you've got a good relationship with Demetrius Lita. Is Clarissa Shields a possibility?
Look, Clarissa wants to fight, and whether it's right for Tasha, we'll have to see. I would love her to get that Katie Taylor rematch, and obviously it will be up to them. I know Katie wants to go to Croke Park, and I spoke to Frank Smith tonight, and I said to him, what do I have to do, you know, for her to get that fight? I think she was the fighter that probably ran, obviously bar the Serrano fight, ran Katie closest, and she'll feel that maybe that weight wasn't her natural weight. Now we see her performing at the higher weight, she'll feel that Katie Taylor is a target for her, and she just wants the big names now. She's achieved her dreams more than she could have achieved. She would have been happy with 1 world title at the start of the year. She's got 3. She now just wants the big names.
Would you be happy for her to go over to DAZN and fight on DAZN if that opportunity was right for her?
Yeah, I think so. I think we understand that, and if especially if it was at Croke Park, I think we just want the best for our fighters, whatever it is. We've seen that. I think people can see that now. We've delivered as much as we possibly can for Tasha. We promised we would. And whatever the best opportunity is for Tasha, we'll take it with both hands.
I spoke to Frank Smith as well and I said, look, what are you doing here? And he was obviously here for Dalton Smith, which we'll come to in a moment. But he did say, look, I was here last month, their last show for Elisa Baumgardner. I'm here for, obviously, Dalton Smith today. We're happy to work together. And in a time where there's so many promoters, so many networks, we're seeing more promoters actually work together. Surely it's a good thing now.
Yeah, I was joking with my team saying Frank's here more than at most of the shows now. He was at the Eubank one as well. But yeah, no, it's good to have him, obviously, supporting his fighters. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good. If we've not worked with them yet. It'll be when it makes sense. We'd love to. When the fights make sense, and yeah, it's good to have a good relationship with Frank. He's a good guy.
To be honest, I did ask him. I said, "Are you looking for a job with Sky?"
I think he is. I think he's missing it. But no, he does a good job, and yeah, I get on with him.
Dalton Smith, great fight. Obviously, close fight. It was a tick for tat at the beginning. He got the victory. Were you impressed with how his performance was tonight?
Yeah, I think he was ill the week before. I did hear that. I think Casey Benjamin is more than British level. I think he's a serious fighter, and he's not had the fights that Dalton's had in the past 12, 18 months, the consistency, the rounds, the experience, really. And I think that was maybe the difference. But Casey's a serious fighter in that division, and he'll come again as well. And Dalton showed his class in the end, and he won. It was good because he could have pulled out, and I think a lot of fighters might have pulled out, but shows the measure of him as a person, of a fighter. And Grant Smith, I really get on with him, proper guy, proper fighting man, and enjoyed both sides, and I think they both come out really well. I think Casey's come out of it well, Dalton's come out of it well, and then we'll see what happens next for both of them.
It's public knowledge this was his last contractual fight with Matchroom. Obviously, I know you have interest with him. I asked Frank Smith today, and he said that's probably the reason why he was there. He was to support his fighter and tell his fighter that he's important to them and their brand. Are you going to go all guns out?
All guns out. He's the type of fighter that we want, because that's where we're investing. Everyone's seeing that. We're investing in youth. We're investing in who we think are the stars of tomorrow. We've seen it with Fraser and Adam Azim and Ben Whittaker and Caroline Dubois and Carrie Sartistall, Lauren Price, the list goes on. That's where we are focused. That's where we think we're best placed. Dalton Smith is in that list. We think he can be a future star if built properly, and I'm sure a lot of promoters, not just myself, not just Matchroom, will be looking at Dalton Smith, and I'm happy. And I've said before, I'm happy because fighters have got opportunities that maybe in previous years, would find it tough to negotiate the deals that they wanted, and now they can really get their full value, and it's good to see.
Fraser Clark went the distance. I spoke to him and he said, look, I did start feeling a little bit tired towards the end, but finally, I know how frustrating September was for you with his previous opponent and that Liverpool card, but he said, I'm happy. This was a game opponent, exactly what I needed.
We were just desperate for 6 rounds. People don't understand how important rounds are. I think even Savannah's knocked a lot of fighters out, and I just felt when she's had that Clarissa fight, has she had enough rounds? It's so important, competitive rounds, and we wanted to give Camel 7-8 weeks because we wanted the rounds, and he gave it. He's a tough guy. He's a tough bastard, isn't he? And he took a lot of punishment, but that's what we needed. And Fraser was busy, and then he starts to understand this is what it's like in the pros, and we'll hopefully move to 8 rounds next. And it's all learning. He's in his 4th professional fight, and the first 2 of the first 3 weren't really fights, let's be honest. So he's really early on in his pro career, and he's fighting a very experienced guy in Camel, and I'm just glad we got a proper Camel Sokolowski on 8 weeks and got the rounds.
Vidal Riley?
Vidal Riley I thought was special tonight. He's a serious fighter. He's a natural. Some fighters you enjoy watching, like really enjoy watching, because it's their craft. He's got amazing instincts. He's a real fighter, and he took on a tough test tonight against a 6'5" Ross McGuigan, who was throwing everything. He was desperate to win, throwing some real punches, and he dealt with it well as a smaller guy. And that was a good performance, probably the highlight performance for me of the night.
Brad Ray takes his first professional loss. Obviously, he's gutted. But listen, losses don't define fighters. They make fighters better, and he'll come again. But how did you assess his performance tonight? Yeah,
as you say, they come again. I think he's very young. I think it was too passive. Even the first 7-8 rounds. I think he realised, I can hurt him in the 9th. And then it started to turn into a serious fight. Tyler Denny used his experience. He's actually a very clever fighter, a very aggressive fighter, and he's used to fighting the taller fighters, especially after those 2 fights with River Wilson Ben. That was the experience that he needed, and I think that's why the confidence shone. And I think he's a good personality. He's an exciting fighter to watch as well. They'll both come again. Tyler, I think, will fight Brad Porce now. I think that was part of the contract, and I look forward to that fight. And I think Tyler can go from strength to strength. And then Brad Ray will come again, and then hopefully we'll learn a lot from that against an experienced guy. And I think that's what boxing fans want to see. It's almost like, fuck it, let's have a proper fight. And we saw it, and both of them came out well.
I spoke to Dylan Chima. He was very upset, very disappointed. It was a 4-round fight, and he didn't get the victory. And I spoke to a lot of people. I didn't watch the full fight, but people say that he possibly lost 3 out of the 4 rounds.
Yeah, it was a tough night for Dylan. Obviously, he won our Boxer series and got his contract. And it's a different game. The tournaments, it's more of the amateur style and this and that. And he's got a lot to learn in that sense, and you know, I feel for him because he's got a lot of pressure. He does have a lot of fans, and yeah, I feel for him, and that's the harsh reality of professional boxing. There's nowhere to hide. There is nowhere to hide, and I hope he'll go back to the drawing board.
Liam Smith was here tonight. You know what I want to ask you next. You said to me it's a done deal with Eubank Jr. I know there's other rumours that are flying around, but where are we with that?
Yeah, I hope to announce this week. Obviously, can't make anything official and don't want to get in trouble, but that's a fight I think the fans want to see. That's a fight that the fighters are ready for, and yeah, hope that we can announce the date this week.
Eddie and Frank both, on our interviews in the last 24 hours, have both said that they believe the fight isn't done.
No, so we have terms agreed with both fighters in terms of all the important stuff. The date was the issue. We wanted to do it December 17th. Both fighters were locked in for December 17th, and we're having to move it obviously into January, and that's the difficult part, and hopefully we can announce that date.
I don't want you to get into trouble, nor do I want my name associated with any comments, but is that going to land in the north or the south?
I think it will land in the north. I think that's the obvious place for the fight. But as I say, I don't want to announce any more until the broadcasters and everyone is ready to announce.
Super Sunday next?
Yes, Adam Azim. Big night to come. Adam Azim, Ryland Charlton. Lerone Richards back. I think he needs the pro back on the big platform in a tough fight against Zach Shelley, who will bring it. Mikhail Lawal in the cruiserweight division fights for a British title against Dion Juma, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a good show, hopefully to a different audience. And yeah, looking forward to it. Alexandra Palace, 2 weeks' time, on Sunday the 27th of November.
I know that's a jam-packed weekend with Wasserman on Friday night, Frank and Eddie on the Saturday, you on the Sunday. The weekend after, Josh Kelly and Troy Williamson go on the Friday, Chisora Fury go on the Saturday. I know you're not doing nothing on that date, but anything planned for the 10th or the 17th? I know Eddie goes with Warrington, but Eddie has confirmed today that he's not going on the 17th as well. So any further shows after the Super Sunday?
Yeah, we have a show on the 17th of December, a big show that we'll announce this week as well. And that will close off an incredible year for us, and another big show. And yeah, this week I won't say anything more.
Finally, Ricky Hatton, huge ovation. Listen, myself, yourself, everyone followed his career in the 90s and the whole world when the millennium kicked in. It brought back memories for me personally. Those drums, those sounds, the noise. But how was it to see him back in the ring and healthy and smiling?
Yeah, it's just inspiring. He's done it for all the right reasons. He looks fit, healthy. What a transformation. And he's an inspiring guy, I think, because everyone can relate to him, what he's been through. He's come back tonight in the Manchester Arena, great atmosphere, and I think it's a bit of fun. Exhibition boxing is not my cup of tea. I don't like it, but I think when it's for the right reasons and it's something like that, and you've seen someone turn their life around in front of you and come in almost looking like an old Ricky Hatton and just enjoying it with another legend in Barrera, that's when I think it works, and it shows that the sport has tradition, and it shows that how popular people from boxing are, and the fact that we're still drawing a crowd all these years later. Yeah, I was glad to see it.
Ben Shalom, IFL TV, thank you very much.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something. Completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.